Hello my friends, welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. Today during my lunch break, I decided to paint. And I did two paintings, one of a daisy that was very pretty. And then I had just a few minutes left, so I decided to paint this flower. And painting loose is not my usual style. I really struggle with it because I overthink things. And I am a tight and very detailed painter. So painting loose just does not come naturally to me. So I've taken the advice of fellow artists who suggested that I use the largest brushes that I have. And these are not the largest brushes that I'm working with today. They're just the ones that I had upstairs. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm painting in my kitchen. And to time myself. So initially I did set a 5-minute timer for this painting, but I obviously went way over that. I ended up doing this painting in about 16 minutes. I did speed this up a little bit. So you can see here I've wet down my Muño pan paints, and I've wet them down really well because I will not be using the ceramic mixing palette for my paints. I will be picking up the paints straight from the pans because I want them to be very pigmented. And initially what I wanted to do was to do almost like a dry brush effect, but the silver black velvet brush holds a lot of water. And you can see here that it was just not exactly what I was going for, but I figured I would continue with the painting and see where it went. Now, the one that I did on the Canson watercolor paper, I must have done that in maybe about 6 or 7 minutes. It felt more like 5 minutes, but I knew that my lunch break was almost over. So I wasn't thinking, I was just painting, and that was so freeing. And I really liked the way that painting turned out, more so than this one. So I don't know, I need to loosen up. And with this one that I'm showing you here, I think I was thinking too much about it. I was under pressure because I had set a timer, and it didn't. My first few strokes didn't turn out the way that I had envisioned them, so that kind of threw me off. But I continued with the painting. Here I'm adding a little crimson lake, and I'm trying to create a little separation between the petals. But you can see that the paper is really, really wet. And now I'm adding some lemon yellow to try and brighten up the center of those petals. And I'm trying to paint quickly. And now I'm just sopping up some of that water because I want to add a little bit more yellow. And I have so much water on there that the paint is just gathering. And again, now I'm picking up a little bit more of that crimson lake, and I'm trying to create a little separation in the petals. And again, trying to create a little detail, which is what I'm trying not to do. Now I'm using the back of my paintbrush, and I am running it across the petals in the direction that I want to indicate the petals are going in. And what that does is it creates like a well in the paper, and the paint collects in that area. So you get some really nice lines in your petals. Now I'm going to, nope, still trying to define those petals. See, this is what really threw me off on this painting, trying not to be detailed, but still being detailed. I think I was definitely better off not thinking about it and just painting. So here I'm picking up some of the water because, again, I have a lot of water on this paper. And I think I would like to try this on hot press paper. This is cold press paper. And I think I might get the effect that I want if I worked on hot press, because working on the Canson, which is really inexpensive paper, the paint kind of sits on top, and the texture of the paper is much smoother than the cold press. So now I'm painting in the stem, and I'm using a combination of olive green, sap green, and olive brown, I think. And now I'm just taking some water and softening up the edges of that stem, and then mopping up the excess water with my dirty paper towel. And because the water is dirty, I had demarcation marks or blooms, so I just blended that color into the entire bottom section of the paper. Now I'm picking up a little bit of the burnt umber and black to create a little depth in the center there. And I should have stopped long ago, but old habits are hard to break. Now again, just making sure that everything is blended, because I could see I was getting some blooms. And not that blooms are bad, it was just not the effect that I was going for. Still trying to define those petals. And that water should have been changed. You can see how dirty it is. I should have had 2 glasses of water, but... So now I'm painting in a leaf. And I'm trying to be very loose with it. Also, something that I was told to do, which I forgot to do, is to hold the brush higher on the handle as opposed to closer to the bristles, because that doesn't allow you to have the control that you normally have, or at least that I normally have, but you can see how far down I'm holding it. So I definitely have to try this again and try and remember everything that was suggested to me. But all in all, it didn't turn out that bad. It was fun. I hope that you give this a try. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And you can check the description box for links to the products used. If you click on the link, it will take you to my Amazon store. And if you click on the picture of the video you just watched, it will expand and all the products will be listed there. Oh, I forgot this part. So now I'm drawing the little, because I thought this was kind of like a poppy looking flower. So you know how they have those little, they're not thorns, but they're fuzzy. The stem is fuzzy. So I'm using a combination of the browns and the black and some dark green to create those little fuzzy parts of the stem. And then I will take my paper towel and lightly dab it to kind of soften it up a little bit. But that is probably the most defined part of this flower. And I should have just done a few, but again, old habits are hard to break. But every time I do this, I learn something more. And as I've mentioned in the past, this is a learning channel. I really want to learn watercolor and alcohol ink with you and teach you what I learn as I go. So I share everything with you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this was a so-so. Well, let me know if you have any questions and if you have any advice for painting looser. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you give it a try. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.